goes into 32 8 times. Okay, 8 times 1 is 8. 8 goes into 32 4 times. So we multiply times 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So now we have our common numerators. So now we break it down and we have 12 plus 5 plus 14 plus 8. Okay? Your book does it, it shows the entire thing all at once. You don't have to do that. What I'm trying to do is make sure that you don't get too confused with the fractional portion. We've got a common denominator, so we don't need to see it in every equation. Now at this point, all I'm doing is adding my numerators. Okay? So 17, real quick, I just added 12 plus 5 is 17, plus 14, 11, I carry the 1, 3, now I'm also going to add 8, 39. Okay, 39, now we bring our denominator down. Now we have, again, what do we call that? An improper fraction. Okay, 39 32nds. So how many times does 32 go into 39? Let's do this. 39 minus 32. We have 7 left over, so we got 1, 7, 32nds. Okay? All right. Let's go back to the PowerPoint for a minute. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about some basic algebra. All right. Basic algebra, order of operations. This is one of the best ways to help remember it. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. This is the way we were taught. There may be some different ways out there to do that now. But if you break it down in your book, you'll also see it's the PEMDAS, okay? Order of operations. You perform all calculations inside parentheses first, then the exponents, then multiplication, then division, then addition, and subtraction. From left to right on everything. Okay, left to right on these. Okay? Solving for variables, isolate the variable on one side of the equation by performing operations on both sides. All right. Break this down. I'm going to do what it shows in the book so that you can follow along. Sorry, having a little bit of a hard time focusing here. Okay, sorry. Put my hand up there just to make sure it would. So let's break down on page 69 under example 2. Okay? We're going to talk 69, example 2. So what we're referring to, it says our equation is A is equal to B minus C divided by D. Okay? It's telling us, it says calculate for A when B is 2.375, C is 1.6, and D is 3.25. Okay? So there what we do is PEMDAS, we're going to do, first of all, we do our subtraction. Okay? So we need to take this to make it a whole number first. We end up with 0.775. 0.775 divided by 3.25 is equal to 0.2385. Okay, it's a basic algebraic equation, very simple. When can we use this? When would we use this? So, A, total weight, let's just use it on crane and rigging, okay? Say we've got a bill of lading that come in, we don't know our exact shipment, but we got 4 1-inch plates of material, okay? And we found out that out of our 4 pieces of plate, our total was 1,200 pounds, okay? So we have 1,200 pounds. We need to figure out what is a half piece, a half sheet of plate. Okay, so real quick, before we do anything else, we've got 4 pieces at 1,200 pounds total. So we now take 1,200 divided by 4, ends up being 300 pounds. Now we know it's 300 pounds a piece, a sheet. Okay? Now we know that. Now we also need to figure that out. We're going to use a half, so we take 300 divided by 2, or the other equation we can do is 300 multiplied by 0.5. Either way, you end up with the same situation. So what I did is I just broke it down into pieces. But this is an algebraic equation. Okay, you need to figure out what A is. A is equal to a half sheet. In order to figure that out, we need to know B divided by D. So right here, this is B, this is D, times 0.5. So let's do the equation. We have 1,200 pounds divided by 4 pieces multiplied by 0.5, because we only needed half a sheet. So what we did here is we just took an algebraic equation and we made practical sense of it. Okay? It's just, algebra is not something to be scared of. A lot of times we don't give it a real life situation to help explain it. Traditionally in most math classes, there's not a, especially when you're just looking at algebraic equations, there's usually just numbers and letter designations. You're not getting a full problem of how to figure it out. What we did is we just took the long way around it, how we see things traditionally in a shop. We'll break it down into the portions that we need. However, what we did was one algebraic equation. Okay? All right. So let's do this real quick. When we go back through that book, the example right below it is, we're going to walk through that problem as well, okay? So A is equal to the square root of C squared minus B squared. Okay? So in this situation, it tells you that this is 0.5. Let me bring my book over, I'm sorry. .5 squared minus B is given 0.322 squared. So in this case, we're going to multiply these two together, okay? So we know 0.25, subtraction. This one I would probably use my calculator on just to make sure that I'm accurate, especially when dealing with 3 decimal places. It tells us we're at 0.010368 Okay? Then at that point, we have the square root of 0.146316, which ends up being 0.3825. Okay? So when we look at how we do square roots, so the first thing we're going to do is, let's look at our equation. We have 0.146316. Let me get back up here. Square root 0.146316. See how I did that on just a normal calculator? Well, this one's a scientific at this point. Okay? Square root of that number is equal to 0.3825. There's our answer. It's corrected and checked. Now this equation is going to come back into play here in a few minutes as well. Okay? Let's move on with PowerPoint. Okay, real quick. You may have a book, you may not be having a book. What we did is we went through order of operations within it there as well. Moving on to page 70. Or take a break and we'll come back.